Hey everybody. So everybody wants clean, pure, non-smelly air in their BMW, right? So today I'm going to talk to you about changing the cabin filter, which helps contribute to that. So the good thing about the cabin filter is it kind of filters out those things that might be coming from the outside. Some big old diesel with a big stack of smoke blowing out. You can set it on recirculate. It'll keep that from coming in. It'll kind of try to filter out as much smelliness and as much pollen and dirt and what have you from the air outside. So in these crazy COVID times, don't ask me if it's going to filter out COVID. Don't know. But nonetheless, it is a charcoal filter. I would imagine that it is going to filter out COVID. You could probably sit in your car and be safe from COVID. So let's go ahead and get right to it in a minute. Before we do, I want to say a couple things about BMW AC systems. So a lot of people complain, I get this smelly feet type of smell, like cheese or feet or something like that. So if you get that, oftentimes chances are you're probably in a humid location, and what that is bacteria that's actually growing in your evaporator. So there's a couple things you can do. When you go to change this filter, before you replace it, what you can do is you can leave the little lid that goes on the bottom of here, which I'm going to show you. You can leave it off, and they have special disinfectant spray specifically for ACs. You can turn your car on, turn the vents on, and spray that up into there, and then wait, and then install your filter. That'll hopefully help. The best way to avoid it is turning off, this is crazy, turning off your AC system about 5 to 10 minutes before you arrive where you're at. So if you can live with being a little uncomfortable for a couple minutes of your drive, then what it does, it allows normal air to come back through. There's no more condensation being built by that cold air, and so it's going to dry out the evaporator and not give bacteria much of a chance to grow. So that being said, BMW systems are kind of unique. When you turn off the AC, some of you may have noted that, hey, it didn't even turn off. It's still blowing cold. It takes up to 5 minutes sometimes because BMW actually tries to do that through its own system. It tries to dry that evaporator through its own system. So turning it off 5 minutes ahead, it's going to take about 5 minutes for it to do that. If you've ever gotten out real quick, turned off the car, got back in, you're like, what the heck, it's still on, even though I turned it off before I got out the car. Probably because it was only turned off like right as you got out the car. So it does have a time span, which is strange even if you get back in the car later. So I've noticed that on my X4 as I get back in the next day and the AC seems like it's still on for a good 3-4 minutes, and then all of a sudden it's just ambient air from outside. So that's one quirk about the BMWs. The other quirk is the 2 center vents. In your iDrive, there is a climate control setting for those two vents. If you set them to full cold, you'll note that the AC seems like it's coming on because it's trying to accommodate you. It's trying to give you a cold head. And so those are the 2 reasons your AC might be running even though the switch is off. So without further ado, let's get on into it. This is going to take us all of a minute. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in a minute. To remove this bottom panel, the first thing is to remove these little snaps. They're at the front left and right corner. Alright, so once you've got the 2 snaps, you want to unsnap this. There's a little edge right there to push in, pull it out. These 2 just basically snap out, that one and this one. And then you'll be careful and you'll carefully move this out of the car. So, alright, let's go ahead and do that, and then we'll take you to the next step. So you'll see a few things here. So the first, this little fella, go ahead and just kind of bring that guy out, like so. Then you'll see you'll need the T20 for this one and this one. So let me go ahead and take it out, as I can't work one-handed very well. I'll try. And over here, you'll notice this little section right here. You'll just come to the top, pull down a little bit. Same on the other side, if you can get to it. And voila, there's our filter. I always like comparing, making sure I have the right product. So one thing I can say is this right here, the new one, is a Beck & Arnley. The original, is made by Man Filters, and I can tell a difference. This one's very light. This one's a lot heavier. It's made a little bit better, not quite as cheesy, but nonetheless, I'm going to go ahead and put the new one in and see where we go from here. So, looking at it, this little angle is going to go in this format right here. And in case you forget, there's little arrows, which are very hard to see right there. So, this is how we're going to put it in. It helps to form it a little bit. If we look up into the chamber, you'll notice it's kind of curved. Make sure you've got your wire out of the way there. And then we're just going to snap it in. Make sure you get an audible snap. And then we're going to go ahead and okay, it's a bit of a juggling act trying to get you a view, and doing it all by myself, so nobody to hold my camera for me. But you'll just go ahead and put these back in, and hell, camera, stay with me. Okay, when putting these back in, you'll note there's a couple things. There's a little place right there. And there's a little slot right here that goes into this slot. Hard to see, but right there. So make sure you line these up in there and there, and then we'll be able to snap it back in. Once you have everything back in place, don't forget to close this, snap it shut, and that's it. You just change your cabin filter. Yay!